So once you have booted your machine from the Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9 installation media, this is what you get. By default, it wants to test the installation media before you can install. I would suggest not to do that. Just select Install Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9. Now you will see the blinking cursor for a few seconds, and then it starts loading the installation system. And here we have access to the graphical installation. Okay, so to start with, we need to select a language. English. English United States is the only language that makes sense. For your service, it's nice to know that you can install in a different language, but for the exam, that is really not something to do. And here we can see the installation summary screen. Now, the nice thing about the installation summary screen is that you only have to provide choices for the things that are different. And if you really want to go for the minimal options, you only have to follow the links in red. So we need to select installation destination. By default, it wants to do automatic partitioning, and there's an exclamation mark here. That is because the installer is going to overwrite your entire disk. You can see the disk that it has found, a 20 gigabyte disk in VMware, which is known as SDA. And the storage configuration is set to automatic, and that's perfect. I just have to click Done here to tell the software installer that we're good and that it's okay to overwrite the entire disk. The next required option is related to the user settings. This is about the root password. The root is your system administrator user, and this user needs a password. So let me enter a password, and I need to enter the same password twice. Notice that the installer has detected that I have a weak password. I want to have a weak password. I don't care about it for this demo system. And that is why in the lower part it's telling me that I need to click Done twice to accept the weak password. Also, there's an option if I want to lock the root account so that you can only log in using an administrative user, and an option that you need to separately specify to allow root SSH login with password. By default, the root user cannot use Secure Shell to connect to your server. I am going to click Done twice because this is exactly matching what I need. And then I want to have a quick look at 3 other options. There are many more options available, but only a few more that matter. To start with the networking, we can see that my wired network connection is connected, and that's all that I want to verify. I have obtained an IP address from the DHCP server. My server is connected, so I'm clicking Done. You don't even have to set a host name. We'll take care of that later. The next option is the software selection, where it is going to select server with graphical user interface. I think that's the option you want to use as well in order to get familiar with Red Hat Enterprise Linux. But very commonly used are the server option and the minimal installation, which don't offer you access to any graphical user interface. But here we are just going to keep it for what it is. And about the choice for additional software, that's not something you have to worry about. We can do that later. So let me click Done. And last but not least, the time zone. America's Chicago time zone. Well, depends on where you are. It is nice to set your server to a time that matches your local time zone. So let me do that and then click Done. And next we can click Begin Installation, which is starting the installation. And this is the part that takes at least 5 minutes. All right, the installation is now done. So let's click Reboot System to reboot. One of the first things that you will see after rebooting is the grub bootloader. In this grub bootloader, you can see your current kernel version, and there's also a rescue system. We're not going to use the rescue system, so I'm just going to press Enter on the default selection. This grub bootloader is going to be very important later on, because you can use it to pass specific boot options, which can be useful if anything doesn't work out the way you expect it to be. So here we can see the setup wizard. You need to go through it and indicate what you want to do. There's not much interesting happening here, apart from the About You. This is where you create a user account for yourself. I like using a user with the name student, and I suggest you do the same. because throughout the exercises in this course, I will refer to this user account as well. This user will be provided with sudo privileges as well, and that means that this user will have options to do administrator work. So that's all. Now you click Start using Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and that will bring you into the main application interface. I would suggest you just say no thanks on Take Tour to get access to your system. We'll take care of the registration later on as well. For now, we're all good.